So, the whole Epstein saga, you'd think we've heard it all, right? Well, it just took a really strange new turn. And it all comes down to one email. An email that somebody really didn't want us to see.
Okay, so here's how it went down. They released a bunch of court filings. A pretty standard procedure. But someone messed up, because tucked away inside all that legal jargon was a private email. We're talking deeply personal stuff. And for just a moment, it was out there. And I mean, it was just for a moment. You could almost picture the panic, right? Officials scrambling to hide it, and then, poof, within minutes, those lines were blacked out. Gone, hidden behind that classic reduction ink. So of course, that just blows the whole thing wide open. When something vanishes that quickly, it just makes you ask, what was it? What was in that message that the world was absolutely not supposed to see?
All right, let's get into the heart of it. This whole thing revolves around Virginia Giuffre. Now, if you followed the Epstein case at all, you know her name. She's one of his most central, most public accusers. I mean, her testimony is a huge reason this whole scandal blew up the way it did.
Let's just walk through the timeline super quick. The court unseals these files, right? Which just means they become public record. Bam. In that data dump, this private email slips through. Then, almost instantly, the redaction happens. The window was tiny. But in today's world, a tiny window is all you need for something to get out.
So the big question, what did the text actually say? Well, it contained an unconfirmed claim about Virginia Giuffre's cause of death. Now, and this is really important to stress, this was an unconfirmed claim. It was from a private conversation between lawyers and associates. No official authorities have verified this at all.
And the source of this email? It wasn't just anyone. The message came from Maria Farmer. She's another survivor, and a hugely significant one. She was one of the very first women to report Epstein way back in the 90s.
In the email, Farmer apparently called Giuffre a guiding light for survivors worldwide. Just think about that phrase. It really tells you everything you need to know about how important Giuffre was, not just to the case, but to the entire community of survivors. And the message itself? Wow. It was reportedly filled with this sense of unbearable loss and frustration. But it wasn't just grief. It was also angry, pointing fingers at what Farmer called institutional failures. You can just feel the raw emotion coming through those words.
Okay, so this is where things get really complicated, because now you have two competing stories. The accidental leak created this massive conflict between this very raw, unverified claim in an email and the very buttoned-up official narrative. Let's lay it out. On one hand, you've got the leaked email, which makes a very specific claim. But on the other hand, you have the official side. Her lawyer is on record saying the evidence remains inconclusive. The police are only offering limited details. See that? That's not just a gap. That's a canyon of missing information.
And, the ironic thing is, by trying to hide it, they made it 1,000 times worse. It's the classic Streisand effect, right? The second you tell people they can't see something, it's the only thing they want to see. So instead of quieting things down, that black bar of ink just poured gasoline on the fire of online debate.
So why did this story just catch fire online? Well, a few things came together to create the perfect storm. First, you've got the information vacuum. No official answers. Second, the redaction itself basically screamed, "This is important." And of course, people were quick with the screenshots. Nothing is ever truly gone from the internet. Add to that some reports about a turbulent time in her personal life, and you've got a recipe for endless speculation.
But to really get why this one redacted email is such a big deal, we have to step back and remember who Virginia Giuffre was in this whole story. She wasn't just a name on a legal document. She was so much more.
I mean, she really became the face of this global scandal. It was her testimony that helped drag this whole thing out of the shadows and into the public eye. And in doing that, she became this incredible symbol, a symbol of resilience, and her courage, her just being there, gives so many other survivors the strength to speak up.
Think about this. Her voice, her testimony. It was absolutely central in pushing this to become one of the biggest, most significant abuse investigations of our time. Just one person's voice helping to do all that.
There's no question about it. Her story completely changed how we talk about power, about abuse, and about who gets held accountable. And that's a legacy you can't just cover up with a black marker.
Which brings us right back to where we started, with this really unsettling question. Because even when the words in an official document disappear behind that black ink, the questions don't. They just get louder. It really makes you wonder, when the official record is blocked out, what's the real story that's left to be told?